Today, Dr. Liu Thai Ker is the director of RSP Architects. He is also known internationally for his involvement in the planning of numerous cities in China and Taiwan. Singaporeans, however, will remember him for his influence on building and shaping the nation as our home. Dr. Liu first joined the HDB in 1969. By then, construction of public housing was well underway, but there was still a massive housing shortage. He strived to build a home for everyone, and in so doing, instill a sense of belonging among Singaporeans.
We did not have a sense of Singaporeans, even in 1969. What made us feel that we are Singaporean? By providing housing, by moving people from squatters into a permanent home.
Dr. Liu was integral in the solving of the housing problem in Singapore, and in so doing, creating a sense of community. He was instrumental in the planning of 23 new towns, including Toa Payoh, Bishan, and Kallang. First of all, when designing a new town, Dr. Liu came up with the idea of precincts.
After that, we said, well, neighborhood center is too big for people to feel that I belong to this piece of land. So we cut it down to precincts. You're familiar, it's about 2 to 3 or 4 hectares, because there was a study to show that if you live in a place which is 2 to 3 hectares, and then maybe surrounded by a line of trees, you feel that you can relate to the piece of land.
Dr. Liu also made a lot of effort to introduce coffee shops so that people in the community can come together to have a meal and interact with one another. Dr. Liu also introduced playgrounds so that children and families can play and spend quality time together. All these facilities play a part in enhancing social cohesion, promoting family bonding, and fostering community spirit. With all these facilities, he went to great lengths and did a lot of research to ensure that the community benefited from them as much as possible.
That's how I studied what should be the population size. In fact, I interviewed a lot of people. I said to the clinic, I said, what population size do you need to sustain a clinic here? I interviewed the supermarket. I said, what population size do you need to support your supermarket? Interview a restaurant. I said, what population do you need to support your restaurant in this place? And so on and so on and so forth. And of course, I also checked with our estates people to say, how many shops, houses do you need to serve the population? Because after you know the population size, which is 250,000, then you need to know how many facilities you need to serve. So that means we don't just take the word new town and then do anything we feel like doing by gut feel. This was hard work but enjoyable work, because then I knew that I was delivering a good new town.
Dr. Liu spared no effort in ensuring that he delivered a good new town, and it is now up to the citizens to recapture the kampong community spirit of old.
In fact, this is one catch line I want to use. I've given you the kampong. Please deliver the spirit from your heart. It's there. In fact, in each precinct, we even have in the turf area, we even put a playground, a sand pit, seats for the mothers and so on to see preparing the ground for the kampong spirit, the void decks for the kampong spirit. Just all you need to do is to put your spirit into it.
By 1985, in the span of just one generation, Singapore did not have any squatters, poverty ghettos, and ethnic enclaves. Having made an indelible impact on the housing landscape in Singapore, Dr. Liu left the HDB and moved on to the URA as the Chief Planner and CEO in 1989.
Every time I plan a new town, I also look at the surrounding area. So at that time, there was before URA was formed. In fact, I was the first CEO for URA. There was a planning department, so all my plan had to submit to planning department. So every time I plan a new town plus the surrounding area, I would tell the planning department, I said, I need to look at the surroundings to make sure there's no conflict between the master plan and the surrounding area, which is, it was really what I meant. So, so by the time I got to URA, I actually knew most of the Singapore already. Okay, so the big challenge is to really look at the rest of Singapore and see how we can then integrate the whole thing now into one workable entity.
As part of the 1991 concept plan, Dr. Liu was also involved in the Conservation Master Plan.
No two cities have the same natural environment. No two cities have the same historical buildings, even as close as Johor. So if we want to have a sense of our own uniqueness, a sense of our own history and culture, you have to consider them. Just give you one example. The shophouses in Chinatown, they are all 22 feet long, wide. The shophouse, all 22 feet wide. Why? Because that was the longest timber beam we could find in those days. So you can't find one that's 23 feet or 20. They're all 22 feet wide. And plus many other constraints. So they're unique. You know.
It is thanks to Dr. Liu and his team that the younger generation of Singaporeans is able to have a better sense of our cultural roots and history through the appreciation of our unique landscape and architecture.
A sense of history, to appreciate where we've come from, a sense of geography, to know how lucky we are compared with many other places, and have a sense of crisis, because Singapore being an extremely small country, we are highly vulnerable. Okay, we cannot take big shocks because any kind of major shocks would affect our country in a major way, and therefore we must always be on the guard for the next problem, or even solve the problem before they arrive. You must have the heart of a humanist, for the right value, humanist. You must have the head of a scientist to get it right. You must have the eye of an artist to make it beautiful.
Dr. Liu is truly one of Singapore's great urban pioneers. His passion and dedication towards whatever he does is truly remarkable. He is one of the key figures behind the unique landscape that we are very proud of today. He has made such an immense impact on the lives of Singaporeans, in making Singapore our home.